Hi, it's me. And I just wanted to pop in here and come up with some Thursday random musings. Everything from you don't need to work 80 hours a week to whatever else I typed up there. It's the thing, I can't see it from here. And I don't remember what all I said. So anyway, you don't need to work 80 hours a week. I mean, Elon Musk says people should work 80 hours a week. I don't know if that's where they're going to try to go with the Fair Labor Board or what, but we don't need to work 80 hours a week. In fact, the people I know who have worked 80 hours a week weren't generally wealthy. I was a teacher. Guess what I did? I worked 80 hours a week because I worked 37.5 paid hours a week. And then I was also, I was also at work before and after. I took papers home to grade. I was on the phone with parents at night. Worked in the summers, for which I did not get paid because I was always trying to find out something new for my students, always. Um, Sometimes I had to reread a piece of literature. Well, always I had to reread a piece of literature for my students. I mean, I was reading, so I was doing another 40 hours at home. I mean, there were many times I was up until I would come home from work and grade papers till 11. When I worked on my PhD, that's exactly what I did. On my doctorate, and which so it I worked from I got home at 4. I left work at 3:45. I was home by 4:15, and I would work until 11 o'clock at night. Go to bed, get dressed, do the same thing every day, and then I would spend the weekends grading papers. So I was working 80 hours a week. Guess what? It didn't help. It didn't help. In fact, it made things worse. I know some principals also work those kind of hours, who get paid a lot more than teachers. They work those kind of hours, but they don't feel rich. Now, when they retire, their income, their pension is, going to be higher, but they still don't feel rich. Maybe they live in a bigger house. But here's the thing. The more money those people made, and I remember even talking to a couple of principals, and this is exactly what they said. The more money they made, the more money they spent on toys, on things that didn't matter. Sometimes they even spent money on things that they didn't remember what they spent it on. It was the same. So they were having the exact same issues that teachers were having, who were making a lot less money. So Elon Musk's whole thing about working 80 hours a week, no. I much prefer Steve Jobs about follow your heart and your intuition. They always know what you want to. They know what's best for you. And Confucius, do what you love, and you'll never have to work a day in your life. Because when you are doing what you love, you might be being paid for it, but it's not work. It's not work. Dolly Parton does not consider writing her songs work. Taylor Swift doesn't consider writing her songs work. You know, these people that we see so often who have great wealth, they often don't consider what they do to be work because they found their purposes early in life. So, you know, if you're finding your purpose in your 40s, in your 50s, you may not become a multi-billionaire. You may not become the richest person in the world. Doesn't mean you can't be rich. It all comes down to what your values are and what you consider rich, what you consider abundant, and what you want to do with that money. Sadly, we see a lot of people who simply hoard it or simply say it's there for their children, and then they go off and have a whole bunch of children with a whole bunch of different women. So much for family values. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to say that. But I also know, like I said, I have personally been the person who worked 80 hours a week, and I've certainly personally known a lot of people who worked 80 hours a week. I knew a lot of people who worked, for phone companies and worked overtime like crazy, and they were working 80 hours a week. They might have been bringing in a lot of money, but they were too tired to spend it. So, too tired to do anything fun with it. And then sadly, a lot of those people that I knew personally, at least, ended up doing a lot of drugs. And that's where they spent their money because they needed to stay awake to do their jobs because they were so tired from working 80 hours a week. Now, on the flip side, I also know some people, personally know them, who work about 20 hours a week and they're wealthy. I don't work 40 hours a week anymore, and I consider myself wealthy because, I've got money put away, I've got money still coming in, I am doing a decent business. I'm not a multi-billionaire, I'm not a billionaire, I'm not a multi-millionaire. But when I changed the way I thought about money, money quit leaving me, money quit going away. Money started coming to me. Because as I've said before, and I'll say it again, money is energy. Energy flows, and when it hits an obstacle, it just turns and keeps flowing in another direction. So if money isn't coming to you, what's stopping it? Spoiler alert, it's what's going on between your head, between your ears, up here in your noggin that's stopping it, and in your heart. You're stopping it. Somehow, you are the one stopping it. So what do we need to change? It's not how many hours you work. It's not how hard you work. But it is what you're thinking. Now, all that is not to say that the economy is perfect, because it's not. I was in a grocery store the other day. $9 for a dozen eggs. $9. We used to pay $1.88. and not, I'm not talking 20 years ago. I'm talking a few months ago. Well, maybe a year or two ago, because then bird flu hit. And I'm okay with bird flu. I understand there's a bird flu going around and that makes eggs go up. I get that. But they don't have it under control yet. It's going to make it worse. So it is going to get tough. The economy is going to get tighter here in the US. So for my US friends, buckle up and change your mindset. Don't keep thinking, oh my God, I just have to work harder. I have to work harder because the economy is so bad. I have to work harder. Do not think that way. Do not fall for that. I'm sorry, I'm about to start coughing. So do not fall for that line of questioning or line of thinking. Excuse me. I'm trying to cut back on caffeine, and root beer naturally doesn't have it. So anyway, don't fall for the whole thing about the economy being so awful. You may have to change some things. But here's the thing. When you change the way you think about money and you think about abundance, the other stuff changes naturally. Instead of you saying, oh God, I can't buy this. Oh my gosh, I have to buy generic things. I can't do this. I can't do it. Instead of you thinking about all those things that you can't do now, change the way you think about money. Look at the discounts. If you get a discount, that's great. Make a game of it when you go to the grocery store. See if you can find BOGOs. Or just say to yourself before you go in, I'm going to find everything I need and everything I want is going to be on sale today. Even better, make it a question. What will it take for me to get everything I need in the store today for less than X dollars? And smile when you say it. Smile when you ask it. What will it take for everything for me? What will it take for me to get everything I need and want in the grocery store? Everything's on my list for under X dollars. And then see how close you come. You're going to find you'll do it a lot of times. And it's not then you're not struggling to do it. It's just a much pleasanter experience. I really wish I could remember what else I put on here that I was going to talk about. Um, what else was I going to talk about? I really don't know. But I do know one thing I was going to talk about, and that was that if you are ready, if you're ready to break free from all this money stress that I've just been mentioning and finally feel confident and secure and in control of your financial future and your financial fluidity, guess what I've got for you? I got something for you. I got something free. Something free. A free live soul aligned wealth course. Now, it's free until April 14th because we're starting that week. And after that, it's going to be $497. Now, the free spots are limited. I don't want you to miss out on it. If you're not on my email list, comment below, comment free, and I'll tell you, I'll know exactly what you're talking about, and I will send you the link for it. If you are on my email list, make sure you got my email because I sent it out. Now, I will say, Dr. Orlean will let me know about this. I didn't mention it was a live course. So when she signed up for it, she went to the course page and it wasn't anything there. There won't be anything there until after we start. And then I will house the videos there for replays, for replay purposes, so that if you need to rewatch it, you can see it. But it's going to be a live course, and it's probably going to run around 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning. I will check with everybody who signs up to make sure what's the best time. I'm thinking 11 o'clock in the morning right now because that's 8 o'clock Pacific time. And it's free. It's 4 weeks. 4 weeks. I'll tell you more about that later. I want to look up. This is what I was going to do. I want to look at the Facebook page and see if I can remember what the heck I was going to talk about. See if it tells me. It may not. Hopefully it will. Oh, good, it does. Oh, yeah. Decluttering. I've talked a lot about decluttering over the years. I don't think I've talked a lot about it lately. It's really important because, as I said, money is energy. Energy flows where it's easy for it to flow. If you've got too much clutter, energy is bumping up against stuff and it's bouncing around. It's going other places. So declutter your space. Physical, declutter your emotions. I did a beautiful cord cutting meditation with myself this morning. Oh my God, so wonderful. It felt so good. And declutter your mind. So declutter. And I started decluttering some old belly dance clothes. I really haven't been belly dancing the last couple of years. Really since COVID, really since 2020, because they closed down for a while. Then it started back, but only a small amount of people could come. And then my night vision started having issues. So, it started making it worse. And then during that 5 years, I gained a few pounds and can't wear some of the things again. So I'm trying things on. And other things, it's just, I know I'm not going to use this again. So I'm putting it in a little bin, and I'm going to take it in on, they're going to do this sale night, swap night. And I'm going to take it in, and basically it's going to be pay me what you want. But I'm also decluttering those just in case items, some board games. Just in case I have anybody come visit that's going to want to play board games, I'm going to start getting rid of them. And I'm going to take them to a couple of local assisted living places. Because, they always have puzzles and board games and different things for people in assisted living and in nursing homes. So that's where I'm going to take those. And I made a list. I think I mentioned the other day that I had seen something, and it was 25 and 25. And I talked about that briefly. And it had two things. It had two parts to it. One was to read 25 minutes a day, every day. So that's one thing I'm doing. And the funny thing is, when I was listening to this particular podcast, it was Gretchen Rubin and her sister, called More Happier, I think. And they mentioned War and Peace. Never read War and Peace. I always made jokes about how big it is because, it's like that thick. And they made the comment that, yeah, it's long. It has 361 chapters. It's about 1,300 pages. So the chapter's only 4 or 5 pages long, they said. Okay. And they talked about it a little bit, and I thought, that actually sounds more interesting than I ever thought. So I thought, I'm going to give this a try. Now, they did talk about you can go someplace and some guy posts this thing like once a week with a synopsis of the last 7 chapters every week, and he does all this stuff, and that's on Substack, and I guess it's like I don't know, $80 to $100 a year for Substack, and I don't know anything about Substack, so it's like I'm not going to pay for that. If I was already on it, it might be one thing, but since I'm not, and I don't want to have to learn something new, frankly, so I'm not going to do it because I can read and understand a book on my own, and if I get really desperate, I'll go get the Cliff Notes and then read that along with it. I don't think that's going to happen because I read the first chapter last night, and since I was using my phone, which is this size, obviously it seemed like more than 4 or 5 pages because it is on here. But on here, I think there's like 4,000 pages or 4,800 even. But it took about, 15 minutes to read the chapter. I was like, that's cool. And perfectly understandable. It was a lot of conversation. So, oh, okay. I don't know where it's going to go from here, but I figured 361 chapters, I can read a chapter a day and be done with this by next March. That's cool. I'm fine with that. Because then I can read other things too. If I want to do 25 minutes in a day, I can read that, and I can read something else for another 10 or 15 minutes. But the other part of this 25 and 25 was making a list of 25 things you want to do during the course of this year. Now, it's not all of them. And I just want to tell you a few of the things that I wrote. I wrote down things like I want to do 6 or more of the enchanted extras at Disney World. Enchanting extras, excuse me. I've done 2. I don't know if I showed them to you. Can't go up and get them. I'll show them to you another time. I did a bunny rabbit mosaic with, Mickey's ears as kind of the nose and the mouth area. And I did a castle mosaic. So cool. So cool. So I'll show you those later. And I want to do some, I've done 2 of them. So I want to do 4 more. I wanted to upload 50 videos to my YouTube. Well, I made that list right after I downloaded a whole bunch, right after I did those 10 days in a row and put them up, or 10 days and for 2 weeks, whatever it was. And I put those. I've uploaded 27 videos to my YouTube channel this year. 27. And there's more coming. So if you haven't checked out my YouTube channel this year, put YT down there and I'll know you mean YouTube. And I'll give you the link so you can go check out a few of them. Because they're really cool. And let's see, what else did I put on here? I put on here to do breath work for 30 days in a row. Well, that's not going to happen right now because I've got too many things going on. I do breath work every day, but when I wrote that down, I meant like a 30-minute to an hour breath work session every day. I do about a 10-minute breath work session every day. So I will move up, and there have been a few days I missed, but I'm going to do that one day. And I wrote down kind of in my long list, I wrote down, right now I'm looking at like a little calendar thing I did of it, and I wrote down kind of when I want to do it. So that's a few months out. Right now I'm doing an automatic writing every day. That's waking up and first thing, taking some breaths, doing a mini meditation, and then writing with 3 specific questions. So I'm doing that right now for 21 days because it's a 21-day course. And then I'm going to keep going for another 9 just to get my 30. I'm going to do, I want to write another book this year, or at least get started on one. So that's one of the things. I want to, let's see, what else do I have here? I'm going to do 30 days of lives in my profile one day sometime this year. I drink water every morning, and I tend to do that anyway, but I wanted to make sure that I was doing it every morning, so I made that a 30-day challenge to myself, and I have done it. I went back. I know I started it. I know I was doing it over the weekend after I got sick. I started doing it again to try to flush things out. So I did that, and then later on, after I do that, I'm going to go back to 64 ounces or whatever of water every day. But I work my way up to some of these things because you can't, if you do everything all at the same time, you go crazy. I also want to make sure that I do 3 roles in Toastmasters and 3 speeches this year because I'm in Toastmasters online, and I did one speech last year. I only did the icebreaker. I never did another one. I did a couple of roles, and I kind of bailed on them. So I'm going to do that more. And by the way, we're having an open house in our group on April 1st. So if you're interested in joining an online Toastmasters, put TM or Toastmasters in the comments, and I'll let you know more information about that. Now, let's see, what else was I going to talk about? So anyway, so that's just the 25 things. There was some more things I can't even read my handwriting. Oh, I want to do 20 podcasts or whatever this year, guests. So if you have a thing coming up, please check me out. I've already done, when I wrote that, I'd already done 4 this year. I've done 2 podcasts, and I've done a TV show, and I'm going to have another TV show coming up on April 9th, talking about my book. And I also guested in somebody else's challenge. So if you got something coming up and you want somebody to do a meditation for you, talk to me. What else do I have? Oh, I also, when I talked about decluttering, I wrote a note to myself to declutter my belly dance stuff, as well as to declutter a loft where I have my Christmas stuff. I need to declutter that stuff. And, I'm only going to do like a shelf a day, or a small or maybe 3 shelves a week, because I do not want to spend an entire weekend decluttering. But I can easily go in there and do one shelf of my belly dance stuff, or one section, hanging section of the closet, because I've got stuff on the hangers, I've got stuff on a shelf, and then I've got stuff below it. Got a lot of belly dance stuff. So, and the same thing with my Christmas stuff. So there's that. The other thing that I have on this little list to talk about today, of my random musings, is joyful moments. If you're waiting around and you're saying, I'll be happy when I lose 10 pounds. I'll be happy when I have a new boyfriend. I'll be happy when I have $1 million. I'll be happy when I quit drinking sodas. I'll be happy when. Guess what? You ain't going to ever be happy. You're just not. You have to be happy now. So find moments of joy every day. Ask yourself when you wake up in the morning, what's going to be great about today? I know something's going to be great about today. I wonder what it is. Where can I find joy today? I know I'm going to find joy today. Where's it going to be? Make a list of things that you love, that bring you joy. Seeing butterflies. My favorite are those big yellow ones. I love seeing big yellow butterflies. And I think that goes back to a song, I think it was actually Bobby Goldsboro, Big Yellow Butterfly. And I love yellow butterflies. Dragonflies too. I used to not like dragonflies, but since I was told by my friend Sherry Ross that dragonflies symbolize your dearly departed being around you. And in 2020, after my father and my uncle passed, I had a lot of dragonflies in the yard. Every time I went outside, there were like half a dozen dragonflies. Funny thing is, I had not seen dragonflies in the yard for years. And then about 2021, 2022, they went away. I haven't seen them again. Maybe it's fireflies that just bring you so much joy when you see them. Or maybe it's funny cat videos. Think about things that bring you joy and then seek them out. Maybe it's a really good cup of hot chocolate or coffee or tea. Or maybe it's just a quiet moment in a bookstore. I do miss Barnes & Noble, I have to say. We used to have one here, and we don't have a bookstore. I loved that place. I could go in there and not even buy a book and just feel good. Maybe it's a quiet moment in a coffee shop. Maybe it's a quiet moment by a lake. Those things that bring you joy, seek them out. And also start noticing other things that bring you joy that you forgot to put on your list. I guarantee you, as you do those things, yes, I do guarantee it. I guarantee it. As you do those things, you're going to be happier. And when you start to feel happy, guess what the energy of money does? It comes to find you because it's open. The path is open. It's not that it says, oh, she's being happy now. Let me seek her out. It's because when you get happier, your path opens and money can find you easier. Now, you might be saying, well, if that's the case, how come so many people who don't really seem happy have a lot of money? There are a lot. You know why? Because money isn't seeking you out because you're happy. Money's just flowing. And suddenly when you get happy, there's no blocks. There's no obstacles. Those other people that may not be as happy, may not seem happy, the difference is their path is already open to the energy of money because they expect money to flow to them. They don't have any of the shame, any of the guilt about having money. They not only believe with their whole being that they deserve wealth, they sometimes think they deserve it more than anybody else. And here's the thing, money's neutral. Money doesn't judge. So it goes to them. Money flows where it's welcome, where it's expected. And when you expect money to flow to you, and you truly believe at your core that you deserve it, and you feel no guilt or shame about it, about having it, it's going to flow to you. But when you're sitting here saying, gee, I can't ask for that because that's being greedy. Gee, only greedy people have money. Look, I immediately did this when I said that. Then you're blocking the path. And money's not judging you about it. Money's just saying, path's closed, door's closed. Bumps up against it, bounces off, and goes to somebody else. So, open the path. Clear the clutter. Find those joyful moments. Sign up for my free live Soul Aligned Wealth course, where you'll get awareness, you'll get empowerment, and I'll tell you more about it later. 4 weeks. It's definitely going to be worth $497. It's going to be worth a lot more than that. In 4 weeks, you're going to start changing. So, hope to see you there. And I would love to hear your comments down below. TM if you want to know more about Toastmasters, YT if you want my YouTube channel, and free if you want to know anything about the course, the free live course that's going to start the week of April 14th. So, until then, I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.